everybody, welcome back. After too long of an absence to SFF180, it is Monday morning, March the 8th, and time once again for the mailbag. I hope you guys have had a good week and a good weekend. I'm very sorry about the lack of uploads over the last, gosh, I guess it has been 2 full weeks now. And I know that I've had reviews that I keep telling you are in the pipeline, and this is true. I've got these, I'm waiting on some thumbnails for some of them, and some of them are ready, and so it's all just a matter of now scheduling them, as you see. I have both Arcady Martin books in the pipeline for this week. A lot of it is just, I don't know, February turned out to be kind of, one of those weird slumpy months, and not just in terms of my reading, but I don't know, biorhythms, whatever. It was just a strange time. Maybe post-snowstorm blues, what have you. But I'm kind of out the back end of that now, and so I'm looking forward to kind of making up for lost time now in March, the lack of productivity in February. So I'm starting this week with a new mailbag that is all physical copies. Hey, I mean, there may be some, NetGalley links and ebooks in my email inbox that I just haven't looked at the moment, but this week we're just going to go ahead and do these as a way of kind of easing back into it. I also had some weird problems last time. The very last mailbag turned out to be a very frustrating editing experience. I was having software issues I'd never experienced before. It was making me crazy, and I think a lot of that also just kind of put me in the mental state to where I think I was thinking I need a break from this, really. But all's well now, and so without further ado, oh, yes, of course. Last thing I have to mention, the deadline for Hugo nominations is coming up fast, so please get those nominations in quickly. If you have not done so, I will leave the relevant link below. Okay, now, time for the books. Now, these are all from a variety of publishers. A lot of these are probably going to be things that I've already showcased here as e-arcs. These are going to be finished copies, stuff like that. And that's fine. Get a chance to look at them again. I'm sure, not everybody remembers everything. But this first package comes in from Random Penguin. Okay, this is one that I have been intrigued by ever since I got the email about it. This is a book called The Minders. And the author is John Mars, and mostly a thriller writer, but I think, a lot of his books also do kind of qualify as horror. This appears to be a near-future sort of techno-thriller kind of a thing. He's a well-known writer. He's written a book called The Passengers, as well as a book called The One, which is about to be a Netflix series, apparently. So anyway, for this one, this came out on the 16th of February from Berkeley in trade paperback. It says, John Mars takes that notion of information being king and delves further into it, with another deliciously gripping yet horrifyingly plausible thriller. Our digital data can be a minefield. No matter the firewalls and security protocols that are created, computers can be hacked and files can be compromised. Really? Shit. Wow, I wish somebody had told me about that. That's crazy. Anyway, it says, because of this, a unique government initiative was created. 5 ordinary people have been selected to become minders, the latest weapon in thwarting cyber terrorism. I don't see that going wrong at all. Transformed by revolutionary medical procedure, the country's most classified information has been taken offline and turned into genetic code implanted inside their heads. Yeah, I can't imagine that going wrong. These 5 know every secret, the truths behind every government lie, conspiracy theory, and cover-up. In return, they're given the chance to leave their problems behind and a blank slate to start their lives over. But not everyone should be trusted, especially when they each have secrets of their own they'll do anything to protect. All right, John Mars has created another edge-of-your-seat novel and blends the twists and turns of the bests of thrillers with the pointed pathos of Black Mirror. Of course, we were going to get a Black Mirror comparison at some point here. That will leave you thinking about the book long after you've finished. And like I said, The Minders, this came out on February 16th. No, I mean, I am intrigued by this. It does sound pretty interesting to see what he might do with the concept. And here's a tiny little package from Tor. Okay, and this is a physical arc for Django Wexler's Hard Reboot. This is a Tor.com novella coming out on May the 25th. And as you can see, it's about giant robots doing giant robot things. It says, giant mech arena battles and intergalactic diplomacy. When did academia get to be so complicated? Kaz is a junior researcher on a fact-finding mission to Old Earth. But when a con artist tricks her into wagering a large sum of money belonging to her university on the outcome of a manned robot arena battle, she becomes drawn into the seedy underworld of old Earth politics and state-sponsored battle droid prize fights. All right, well, it does sound like a heap of fun. And as I said, this will be out from Tor.com on May the 25th. Hard reboot. Okay, this looks like a little package from Simon & Schuster. Ah, and it is. This is the physical arc for Adrian Tooley's Sweet and Bitter Magic. This is a YA fantasy coming out tomorrow in hardcover, in fact, on March the 9th. Says it's perfect for fans of Sorcery of Thorns and Girls of Paper and Fire. This is a charming debut fantasy about a witch cursed never to love, and a girl determined to save her sick father, they strike a dangerous love bargain to save their queendom. Tamsin is the most powerful witch of her generation, but after committing the worst magical sin, she's exiled by the ruling coven and cursed with the inability to love. The only way she can get those feelings back, even for just a little while, is to steal love from others. Ren is a source, a rare kind of person who is made of magic despite being unable to use it herself. Sources are required to train with the coven as soon as they discover their abilities, but Ren, the only caretaker to her ailing father, has spent her life hiding her secret. When a magical plague ravages the queendom, Ren's father falls victim. To save him, Ren proposes a bargain. If Tamsin will help her catch the dark witch responsible for creating the plague, then Ren will give Tamsin her love for her father. Of course, love bargains are a tricky thing, and these two have a long, perilous journey ahead of them. That is, if they don't kill each other first. Okay, then. And this will be out tomorrow, March the 9th, A Sweet and Bitter Magic. And also from Simon & Schuster, another YA arc. This one's kind of a little tome, actually. This one has come out, apparently. This one came out on February 23rd. It's Ashley Shuttleworth's A Dark and Hollow Star. It says it's Cruel Prince meets City of Bones. Okay, they're doing that whole compare to the bestsellers thing. It says a thrilling urban fantasy set in the magical underworld of Toronto that follows a queer cast of characters racing to stop a serial killer whose crimes could expose the hidden world of fairies to humans. Choose your player, the iron-born half-fae outcast of a royal fae family, a tempestuous fury, exiled to Earth from the immortal realm and hell-bent on revenge, a dutiful fae prince, determined to earn his place on the throne, the prince's brooding guardian, burdened with a terrible secret. For centuries, the 8 courts of folk have lived among us, concealed by magic and bound by law to do no harm to humans. This arrangement has long kept peace in the courts until a series of gruesome and ritualistic murders rocks the city of Toronto and threatens to expose fairies to the human world. 4 queer teens, each who hold a key piece of the truth behind these murders, must form a tenuous alliance in their effort to track down the mysterious killer behind these crimes. If they fail, they risk the destruction of the fairy and human worlds alike. If that's not bad enough, there's a war brewing between the mortal and immortal realms, and one of these teens is destined to tip the scales. The only question is which way? Wish them luck, they're going to need it. Well then, you can see how this all pans out right now, because it's available, A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. Cool cover. And see, this next one's a little package that has an Amazon smiley on it, so might be maybe Silver Shamrock? It is! This is the art for a book called The Devil's Mistress. The author is David Barclay, and it appears to be sort of witchy horror, as it were. Let's see, it's our historical horror anyway, someone accused of being a witch. It's set in Virginia, 1705. Darkness has come to the town of Blackfriar. And then they've printed a thing over the, so I can't read the blurb, but I get the idea that someone has been poisoned. And I guess his daughter Isabella stands trial for murder. There it is. Rumor has it she consorted with the devil to do the deed, that she has become a witch. The worst thing, however, is what the townsfolk don't know. Isabella is innocent. After visiting the local enchantress for a simple love spell, her life is beset by catastrophe. Her father turns up dead. Her sadistic fiancé spurns her. Now in shackles, Isabella faces torture and death, her only friend the enchantress. The old crone offers Isabella a new choice: continue to suffer at the hands of her tormentors, or become the very thing they fear. Well, I bet I know which way she's going to go with that. But anyway, The Devil's Mistress by David Barclay, coming soon from Silver Shamrock. And now we have a package from World Weaver Press. Been a little while since we've heard from World Weaver. All right, well, World Weaver Press really enjoy doing these themed anthologies. And this is another one of those. This is a book called Multi-Species Cities, Solarpunk Urban Futures. Oh, that's cool. So this is going to be very much optimistic science fiction, I guess, featuring stories, it says, by Tayo Fuji. That's cool. Carolyn Yoakum, and a very diverse crew that many names that I don't know. Let's see. Priya Sarukai Chabria, Shweta Taneja, and Rimi B. Chatterjee, and more. Okay, so a lot of international authors, and many of whom I haven't heard of. That's really cool. Well, let's see. It says, cities are alive, shared by humans and animals, insects and plants, landforms and machines. What might city ecosystems look like in the future if we strive for multi-species justice in our urban settings? In these more-than-human stories, 24 authors investigate humanity's relationship with the rest of the natural world, placing characters in situations where humans have to look beyond their own needs and interests. A quirky eco-businessman sees broader applications for a high school science fair project. A bad date in Hawaii takes an unexpected turn when the couple stumbles upon some confused sea turtle hatchlings. A genetically enhanced super soldier struggles to find new purpose in a peaceful Tokyo. A community service punishment in Singapore leads to unexpected friendships across age and species. A boy and a mammoth trek across Asia in search of kin. A Tamil child learns the language of the stars. Set primarily in the Asia-Pacific, okay, these stories engage with the serious issues of justice, inclusion, and sustainability that affect the region, while offering optimistic visions of tomorrow's urban spaces. I like everything about how this sounds. Yeah, this is great. This will be available on April the 13th from World Weaver Press, Multi-Species Cities. Very nice. Okay, and then next up we have a big old vacuum-sealed package from Hachette. This is very nice to have. This is the finished copy in trade paperback from Orbit Books of the Unbroken debut epic fantasy novel by C.L. Clarke. It's the first book of something called The Magic of the Lost, an unmissable epic fantasy debut of uprising, espionage, and empire. See, Touraine is a soldier, stolen as a child and raised to kill and die for the Empire. She owes loyalty to only her fellow conscripts, but now her company has been sent back to her homeland to stop a rebellion, and the ties of blood may be stronger than she thought. Luca needs a turncoat, someone desperate enough to tiptoe the bayonet's edge between treason and orders, someone who can sway the rebels towards peace, while Luca focuses on what really matters, getting her uncle off the throne. Through assassinations and massacres in bedrooms and war rooms, Touraine and Luca will haggle over the price of a nation, but some things aren't for sale. Yeah, this just sounds action-packed out the wazoo, frankly. The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke, coming this month from Orbit. And next up, looks like I have a couple of Tor titles. This is the second book in a duology. It's called The Silence of the Solari by Michael Johnston. The first book, which was just called Solari, I think it came out a while ago, maybe like 3 years ago or something. But we now have the sequel. Cover looks awesome. And anyway, it says, and was out on February the 16th. Violently epic fantasy. All right, then. In a world inspired by ancient Egyptian history and King Lear, this follow-up to Michael Johnston's Solari finds Solus besieged from within, and the Harkwadi family is stuck at the heart of the conflict. The ruling family of the Solari Empire has been in power longer than even the calendars that stretch back 2,826 years. Those records tell of a history of conquest and domination by people descended from gods, older than anything in the known world. No living person has seen them for centuries, yet their grip on their four subjugate kingdoms remains tighter than ever. In Silence of the Solari, Solus celebrates the opening of the Mundus, a 2-day holiday for the dead, but the city of the Solari is hardly in need of diversion. A legion of traitors, led by a former captain of the Solari military, rallies at the capital's ancient walls. And inside those fortifications, trapped by circumstance, a second army fights for its very existence. Johnston has created a rich and complex world where the political is personal and characters leap off the page. Detailed and historical, vast in scope and intricate in conception, Johnson's work bristles with primal magic and unexpected violence. It's a world of ancient and elaborate rites, of unseen power and kingdoms ravaged by war, where victory comes with a price and every truth conceals a deeper secret. Okay, and now I guess you can read the entire duology. This one came out, as I said, February the 16th, Silence of the Solari by Michael Johnston. And next up from Tor, we have the finished copy of Engines of Oblivion. This is the second book in Karen Osborne's duology, Memory War. And, I mean, me just coming off of, Arcady Martine's duology, at least I think that's a duology. Anyway, I am very much in the mood just for more of this kind of science fiction, so I may just go ahead and jump right into finishing this one. But anyway, this has been out for a while now. I guess came out way back on February the 9th, so I guess the book just got to me. But it says, well, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but it says it's a solid story of corporate control versus personhood, alien encounters, and doing what is right as opposed to what is easy. So, Engines of Oblivion, the sequel to Architects of Memory, the Memory War duology by Karen Osborne, available now from Tor. And this is the new book by Ellie Modesitt Jr. from Tor. This is volume 10,368 of the Recluse Saga by Modesitt. This is called Fairhaven Rising, and presumably what I hear is that it starts a new story arc, a brand new story arc in this saga, so maybe if you're new to the series, you can pick it up here, who knows. I have a kind of a conflicted set of feelings towards Modesitt. On the one hand, I find him an extremely impressive writer. I like that he, writes with a great deal of, there's a real sense of purpose and thought behind his stories. They're always very thoughtfully told. He has an issue with pacing. A lot of his stories can be very slow, but they can be slow in ways that still draw you in, and the story really works well, like with Robin Hobb, the Farseer trilogy. Or they can be very slow in a way that does not do that, like Robin Hobb with the Rain Wilds Chronicles, that kind of thing, right? But anyway, if you are a long-term fan or maybe someone who's been curious, well, Fairhaven Rising is the new recluse novel, from Tor Books by Ellie Modesitt Jr. And this next one is in from Houghton Mifflin Company. This is The Unfinished Land by Greg Bear. Veteran author Greg Bear, very nice man. I've met him a couple of times. Mostly known for science fiction, and not only that, but hard science fiction. Yet occasionally he dips his toe into fantasy and historical fantasy, and this is one of those. The Unfinished Land, I believe it's set in, let me see, cell sheet? Hope so. Oh well. No, it's not. Okay, wow. It says it's set in the year 1588. Reynard Shotwood survived the destruction of the Spanish Armada's failed invasion, but floats alone in the water off of Suffolk. The sole survivor of an English fishing boat enlisted in the common defense. No longer a boy, but not yet a man, Reynard believes his life is already over. When he's pulled from the North Sea to the dubious shelter of a crippled Spanish galleon, Reynard is tasked by the ship's captain with guiding them to a safe harbor in these unfamiliar waters. Instead, the ship is swept north to an island not found on any charts, but only whispered of in half-forgotten legend. There, eldritch creatures visit the crew, stealing precious time from their sleeping forms. Only two are spared, Reynard and Manuel, the ancient mariner who rescued him. Manuel is left miraculously younger, while Reynard is gifted, or cursed, with fragments of knowledge beyond his understanding. These fragments spur Reynard and Manuel away from the crew and deeper into the island's mysterious interior. It seems Reynard has a destiny here, one that draws new allies and enemies alike, some human, others found in no earthly bestiary. But his destiny is stubbornly veiled, even as the nature of the island becomes shockingly clear. It's a kingdom at war, an enchanted realm, ruled by hierarchies of godlike beings to whom humans are pawns at best, and the world itself is no more than an idle game. But even a lowly pawn can become the most powerful piece on the board. All it has to do is survive. Well, that sounds very suspenseful and very exciting, and probably has extremely rich world building, I'm going to guess. But Greg Bear's The Unfinished Land is now available in hardcover. And moving on, this says that it comes in from Simon & Schuster. Oh, this is very pretty to have. This is the hardcover of The Two-Faced Queen, and it is the sequel, rather rapidly incoming, actually, I have to say, from Saga Press, of a book called The Kingdom of Liars. And it's the latest volume in a series called Legacy of the Mercenary King. No idea if that's a trilogy, duology, or longer, or what. But it's been getting very good buzz. So the first book has praise here from Brandon Sanderson, Tamora Pierce, and James Islington. Let's see. All right then. The future of epic fantasy is here, and this saga is it, says Kirkus Reviews. My golly. Well, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but this is available now, or coming up anyway, fairly soon, from Saga Press, The Two-Faced Queen, sequel to The Kingdom of Liars. And next up, this is in from Random Penguin from Daw Books precisely, and this is just out, and I'm very happy to have the finished copy of it. This is The Counselor by E.J. Beaton. This is a debut novel. I believe the author is Australian. And this one just seems, I mean, I love this gorgeous, like, parchment. Something about this cover just evokes all kinds of, like, intrigue and, shenanigans, right? But let's see what it says. It says, when the death of the Iron Queen, Saralyn Bray, fractures the realm of Elara, Lysand Pryor, the palace scholar and the queen's closest friend, is appointed counselor. Publicly, Lysand must choose the next monarch from amongst the city rulers vying for the throne. Privately, she seeks to discover which ruler murdered the queen, suspecting the use of magic. Resourceful, analytical, and quiet, Lysand appears to embody the motto she was raised with, everything in its place. Yet while she hides her drug addiction from her new associates, she cannot hide her growing interest in power. She becomes locked in a game of strategy with the city rulers, especially the erudite prince Luca Fontaine, who seems to shift between ally and rival. Further from home, an old enemy is stirring. The magic-wielding White Queen is on the move again, and her alliance with a traitor among the royal milieu poses a danger not just to the peace of the realm, but to the survival of everything that Lysand cares about. In a world where the low-born keep their heads down, Lysand must learn to fight an enemy who wears many guises, even as she wages her own battle between ambition and restraint. And that is The Counselor. This one was on my anticipated list for this year by E.J. Beaton, now available from Daw Books. And I have saved the best, hopefully the best, certainly the biggest, for last. We are going to wrap up this week with this chunk of a box from the Hachette Group. All right, well, in this we had two books, and the first of these is The Fall of Coley. This is the final volume in this new series by M.R. Carey, author of The Girl with All the Gifts and some others. And now that it's all out, I feel like, okay, good time to binge this. I've had a lot of requests to review these specifically, so I'm not going to let you down, guys. Hang in there, and I'll get these to you. But let's see. This is, it's called the Rampart Trilogy. M.R. Carey's Rampart Trilogy is an epic post-apocalyptic fable like no other, set in a future where nature has turned against us. In the unforgettable final chapter, well, okay, do I want to? Well, I guess I can. It's not too spoilery. It says the world that was lost comes back to haunt those who have survived, and Coley's journey comes to its astonishing close. So we had the Book of Coley, the Trials of Coley, and now the Fall of Coley from M.R. Carey from Orbit. And also in that box, our final book for this week is this stunningly lovely hardcover edition of the new book by Constance Sayers. This is called The Ladies of the Secret Circus. And wow, this just looks all kinds of intriguing, I guess, for fans of historical fantasy. It says, enter the tent and discover a wondrous tale of lost love, family secrets, and sacrifice. Paris in 1925. To enter the secret circus is to enter a world of wonder, a world where women weave illusions of magnificent beasts, carousels take you back in time, and trapeze artists float across the sky. Bound to her family's circus, Cecile Cabot knows no other world until she meets a charismatic young painter and embarks on a passionate affair that could cost her everything. Virginia in 2004. Laura Barnes is on top of the world until her fiancé disappears on their wedding day. When her desperate search for answers unexpectedly leads to her great-grandmother's journals, Laura is swept into a story of a dark circus and ill-fated love. Okay, so Cecile, I guess, is going to be Laura's, great-grandmother. Soon, secrets about Laura's family history begin to come to light, revealing a curse that has been claiming payment from the women in her family for generations, a curse that might be tied to her fiancé's mysterious disappearance. Okay, then. And that is The Ladies of the Secret Circus by Constance Sayers, and I'm going to guess that this is a March title from Red Hook Publishing. And there you have it. That's all I've got for this episode of the Mailbag, the first all-physical copies mailbag in some time. Very happy to share all of it with you. But you know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please hit the like button, share the video far and wide with all of your SFF reading friends, and above all, please subscribe if you have not done so. That is how the channel grows. We are on the road to 10,000 now. Very exciting time. So thanks for that support. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's Army get little perks like early access on some of my videos. I want to thank those people very much for their additional support. It is greatly appreciated, especially in these difficult times. I use the Patreon money to pay Matt Olson, my wonderful channel artist, for all of the beautiful thumbnails that he does for me. So, thanks for that. I want to thank all the rest of you for being the very best viewers in all of BookTube, and until I see all of you next time, please stay safe, stay healthy, and happy reading.